So, yes. Going to begin our regular board meeting, and we will start with our board member roll call. Jeanette Sampson. Here. Grace Lehman. I'm here. Jen Rickenbach. Here. Marissa Kessler. Here. And Heidi Wintermead is here. And now can we please all rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the Astoria School District, our vision is to strive for a learning environment that partners with the community to fully prepare lifelong learners to thrive in a complex world. Our mission is to engage with students, families, staff, and community members as we provide accessible, relevant, and meaningful educational experiences. And item 2 is our community recognition, and Ms. Haig is going to announce who that is.
Yeah, so we're here to thank and recognize for So Don Nygaard with Nygaard Logging and Lindsay Davis with Hampton Lumber have graciously come and donated a bunch of logs that are really cool in our back area. And so there's a picture of some kids who are holding up, it's hard to see, but they're holding up a thank you to both of you guys, to both companies. And I'll tell you what, our playground is transformed because of this. It has helped in so many ways, one of which is that it's dispersing kids from underneath that small area. And they are able to access this area because of the hard work of Billy and Mike, who come and put bark chips down there. It stays dry unless it's of course raining. Then, but there's also some fire hose that has been laid on top of the logs to make it less slippery. So, and so we won't go here. Well, there we go. Yes, we will. There's a little video that shows you the expanse of how many logs there are and just how far it goes. So Marissa, maybe you could play that video and we can watch it and we can get a better idea of what has come our way.
Here. She got the arrows to work earlier. So.
Yeah.
It's loading. Halfway. We quit watching it.
Well, while you're working on that, Marissa, I also, so this came about actually from, I feel bad, but it was a parent-teacher conference that we were having with Mr. Nygaard, and I'm like, hey, have you looked at the logs? And that's something that you think you might be able to help us out with. And then soon after, I think it was over winter break, that you partnered with Hampton, and there are so many logs, and like the shorter ones and the longer ones were delivered. And then came the work for Billy, Eddie, and Mike Thompson. And they came and they worked diligently over winter break and into January. And then, if you recall, we had some really bad weather and everything had to be kind of put on hold. And so we opened it all up. Actually, it was the end of February or beginning of March. And the kids were waiting patiently for it, and now they're playing on there and having such a good time. So it's helped with our space. It's helped as well as just in their creative play. It's fun to watch the kids play on these logs because it's not like a game, but they create their own games. And so, you know, sometimes it's races, or sometimes it's, you know, how far they can jump on the logs, or sometimes they're sitting, and like today it was really cool. They were jumping over a log to see, you know, and so it's fun. It's just there, but they're creating their own, that's all right, their own games out of it. And I also have found out through some research that balance really increases fine motor skills, as well as focus. And those are things we need. So I'm very grateful, and we have a couple of certificates to give to you to honor, and hopefully you can hang those up and know that we appreciate you so very much. And Billy and Mike as well. We are grateful for all of your work. So. Yeah, I'll send that to you. So the video, I don't know if you guys probably can see it.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just not, the player is not coming up, but I can copy this to you and then it'll have the video. Oh,
yeah.
Can I get a quick picture?
Yes.
And then share that.
Billy, no sassing. No sassing.
Maybe if you wait, there you go.
Smile, Billy. That is a smile.
Left the game, we were tied with Warrington.
Oh,
Mine's taking the field and they fell.
The cool thing about this is we're gonna expand on it this summer. We're gonna, we wanna put some zip lines out there, and make some long bridges.
Nice.
And I think plenty of video. We're also talking about doing it at the middle school as well. But making it more of a competition style to where they start on either end and then like race towards the middle and have to ring a bell in the middle or something like that.
American Warrior.
That's
I love it.
awesome. All right. Item 3 is our AHS student representative, Isabella.
So at the high school right now, spring sports have kicked off successfully. To highlight our track team, Mabry Ferguson beat her triple jump personal record by 1.4 inches, leaving her #1 in the state for 4A triple jump right now. And she's also been chosen as athlete of the week, the current athlete of the week. Will Lehman's race on Saturday put him in 3rd overall in the state for the 3,000 meter as well, I believe. And then Kiefer, he also showcased a successful pole vault, and that is leading them, all 3 of them, first in the Quapaw League for their events right now. The dance team successfully brought home another state championship in the 1 through 4A hip hop division last month. And we also brought home a 2nd place for 1 through 5A jazz. And the stakes were high, but the team stayed focused and determined. And we had a lot of first-year dancers on the team this year, and we've spent the season growing together and building connections, and it was amazing to see them rise to the occasion and just go out and kill it. Tomorrow evening, April 10th at 7, our music program members will present their solo and ensemble showcase at the Charlene Larson Center for the Performing Arts. The performance features a brass, string, and flute ensemble along with 7 soloists. This is a senior project and fundraiser coordinated by Ian McCone, and all proceeds will go directly to the music program. This Friday, we also have opening night for our theater's spring production of Peter and the Starcatcher, and that is going to be at 6:30 p.m. And it's based on The Neverland You Never Knew, a century-old story of how a miserable orphan comes to be the boy who would not grow up, aka Peter Pan. And the performances will be held this weekend and next weekend at the auditorium. And then last month, we had 25 students travel to our sister city, Waldorf, Germany. They were able to reconnect with their exchange students, and they stayed with their host families and got to visit other places like Berlin, Strasbourg, and France. One of my classmates, Zayden L., who was able to go to Germany, said that it was an amazing experience and that he definitely wants to go back to Germany again, possibly even chaperoning for the trip. And then we also have forecasting coming up for the 2025-2026 school year. And that forecast fair will be held on Wednesday, the 16th. That's what's going on, right?
I'm going to add one more thing because she didn't want to flex about her role of success. But coming out of those state championships and second place finishes, Isabella was also the Oregon State Athlete of the Week because of those performances. So congratulations.
Thank you. And congrats. All right. Item 4 is our consent agenda, and this is an action item.
I wasn't here.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
All right. Any further discussion? It was
Me and Jenna.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, that carries. Item 5 are our reports, and we'll start with our administrative reports.
We have about 43 vendors to come in today, visit for music, and it's always hilarious because Mindy is incredible. He started saying, I know a song about this guy named McDonald. I don't know if you guys know it. They visited for PE, library, and music, and then we have an open house on the 17th, just for kids to walk through school and parent. A lot of times it's for parents to feel comfortable also, so we're doing that. It's Educator Week at Astoria. It was not my idea, but I love it, and I probably won't go back. It just shows how all of us together make a difference, and if you have one, if you have a building that's dirty, or if you have cafeteria workers that aren't teaching kids to say, please and thank you, our kids are disadvantaged. So, I'm getting started later the longer I do this, I think, but my counselor said, do you want me to put out a survey? And I said, no, because this is how we function. This is how we work, and this is what we're about. So I'm going to keep doing it unless someone makes me stop. So that's what I'm doing this week.
All right, so at Lewis and Clark, our 3rd graders are studying the Vikings. Our 4th graders are finishing up their poetry unit and beginning a geology unit. And our 5th graders are studying the Renaissance period. So it's really fun to be in their classrooms and see the things that they're getting from all of those really cool subjects. We have some success to be really proud of. Our ELD department will be exiting 9 students from ELD, so that the English language proficiency assessment has to be passed in order for an English language learner to exit, and 9 have passed, and we attribute that to some good programs, including the support of the reading curriculum that has just been more robust this year. And lastly, the buzz at our school is preparing for the talent show, which will be happening on May 1st. So auditions are going to start next week. Applications came in this week, auditions will go next week, and then practice. So that's kind of there's like over 40 applicants for this, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's what's been fun.
Astoria Middle School had our first track meet tonight. We had about 300 kids come out, and it's all done and cleaned up and very, very successful. So I'm excited about that. We had, 120 kids come out this year. And so it's been a big season, but our coaches are really, really killing it. I went down to check on the track meet, and it was going great. The sun came out because I asked, for that to happen. And,
Thank you.
then I came back up, went to my office, and I looked over at the conference room, and here's a man with kids and typewriters, and he's telling them about this 1939 typewriter that's almost 100 years old, and he's naming it, he's explaining what it does, and talking to the kids about it, and he did all this. Then I went off and did something else and came back, and the kids have paper and they're typing away on their typewriter. So, I'm like 120 kids doing track and 8 kids typing on the typewriter. Like, we have a little bit of everything for everybody. So it was fun. Next week, we're going to have our quarterly assembly, and I'm excited about it because it's our student celebration assembly. And I've invited the dance team to come, so they're going to perform for us. The robotics team is going to come perform for us. We had 3 kids. We had a bunch of kids enter our recycling like a Recycle Oregon poster contest, and 3 of our kids won, and one won like the grand prize for the county. So we're gonna celebrate them, and then, you know, other things that kids are doing around school. And so I would invite you to Carnival tomorrow, which we're gonna have, and to the assembly on the 18th, if you'd like to come. And our carnival, the kids get to use their Viking awards as their money to play the games and that kind of stuff. And it's gonna be upstairs, downstairs. Trying to get ready for trial, it didn't work out, so we'll be inside tomorrow. So, yeah, Astoria Middle School is a great place to be.
During the study session, I gave you a brief teaser of the Classic Works program. And it is funded out of the Measure 98 for high school success funds. So each year, the Astoria School District, through the high school success funds, dedicates around $25,000 to keep this program alive and running. There is oftentimes on social media this misunderstanding that school districts, and maybe it's true in other areas of the United States, but that school districts are de-emphasizing career and technical training. So what Classic Works is, it's a summer school program that allows students the opportunity to have employment as well as an internship where they're receiving job training, but also are getting paid for that internship. So it is a paid internship program. And this year we broke our record. We've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now, and we had 43 students apply. Now, not that I am too competitive, but to put that into ratios, that's 1 out of every 13 of our students applied for a Classic Works internship, where our neighboring school districts were 1 out of 23 and 1 out of 20. So almost doubling those ratios. So very proud of that and the level of engagement that we're seeing. They start their interviews this week to find out if they actually find a job placement. And while we still have an increase in our employers, that still does mean that some of our students are going to receive a phone call that says, no, but thank you for your interest, which is also a learning experience. So I'm excited about what that entails, and I hope my daughter gets a job.
Good evening. So our March meal participation numbers are about the same as they were in February. That's pretty good. I'm finishing up the planning for the summer feeding program. Right now, I'm hoping for 6 sites. 3 of those should be non-congregate. That means the kids can show up, get their meals, go home, instead of having to stay there and eat everything. I'll know probably by the end of next week if the sites get approved, and then we'll get it out to the community. At next month's board meeting, we're going to be bringing our contract bids for the produce, the bread, and the dairy for the board's approval. I was able to get some extra funding for fresh fruit and vegetable program, which will help out. And then the last thing I have is the tariff letter that you all have. This shouldn't really affect us much because I think we only order maybe 1 or 2 things that aren't from the U.S. or at least our fresh produce is from the U.S. and maybe like 1 or 2 things from Mexico. In those, according to the letter, won't have the tariffs on them. So,
Mike, I'm envisioning a instead of the ice cream truck, like a lunch bus with music playing when you get to those non-congregate areas. Coming in and.
I thought about that. There are actually schools that have those.
I think it would be awesome. Just saying.
The wheels on the bus.
Yes, yeah, that's the song you can play. The meals on the bus. Sorry.
I just wanted to go back to the budget and the ESD. One of the benefits the district really gets from the ESD is, among many things, is professional development. And I think last board meeting, or maybe 2 board meetings ago, I talked about how there was a teacher at the middle school who took some pretty intensive 10-week professional development to complete functional behavioral assessments and right behavior plans, and she was very happy with it and felt like she got a lot out of it. And I shared my vision of having one person trained in this in every building, and I have 3 volunteers. So next year in January, we will have one person trained with consistent training across the district so that our forms can be the same and the transition from one building to another will be smoother. I think it's going to really make a difference for us.
So, we're heading into state testing season. So we're getting everybody trained and ready to go to get the assessments. You just stole my other one. Sorry. I was just gonna give a lot of kudos to our ELD teachers and they're working really hard, and the new flashlight 360 program that we've been using this year, I think has really helped build their skills up. And then I was at Astoria today because I just go there to get kids film. And I was just in kindergarten classrooms and I was watching reading groups, and it's so much fun. I was watching little kindergartners reading this little book and decoding, I can't remember the story, but they were decoding these sentences, they were reading, and they were super excited, and it was just really, really fun to see.
So transportation, I'm not sure you are aware, but Old Youngs Bay Bridge will be closed next week. We've been working really hard on trying to make the domino effect not so bad. So we have 6 routes that start at Astor. Out of the 6 routes, there's going to be 2 routes running approximately 10 minutes late. We have 8 buses at Lewis Park. Hopefully, out of those 8 routes, we'll have 5 running about 15 minutes late, as long as this flow through Warrenton doesn't affect us. 4 out of this, we have 6 routes running out of the middle school. 4 of them will be running about 15 minutes late. And then we have 8 buses running out of the high school, and 4 of those will be running about 15 minutes late. Out of all the schools, we have 40 Astor students switching routes, which I've been able to make contact with most of the parents. I'll try to finish that tomorrow. We have 9 Lewis and Clark students that are affected and moved to different routes. 21 middle school students are affected and moved to different routes, and 25 high school students. So we're going to do our best to try to make sure that we're not running more than a half hour late.
Rhonda has spent a lot of time. She said we, but it's very hard.
And contacting families, personal phone calls to families.
And families were very appreciative of that and able to change because some of the parents didn't know, because on the Lewis and Clark side, there's been no signage, only over here. And there is signage now over in Lewis and Clark. So I anticipate Lewis and Clark parents are going to try to call and get kids on routes.
Ron is kind enough to inform me of that bridge closure.
Yeah.
I'm not aware.
Is this the city or county that
This is state.
schedule?
Oh,
State?
no. Oh, no.
I was gonna,
I can do that.
is it an emergency type thing? I was just,
I know that they did bridge work and then probably a month ago, 3 weeks ago to a month ago, and it stemmed from that.
I was just
It
thinking,
could be an emergency issue if it's
in
not.
planning, like maybe letting them know that.
They know. About buses and kids in school, yeah, they know. Yeah.
Like tunnel vision.
No, they're like, we're here, we're doing it.
So our spring break maintenance was kind of overtaken by a snafu at the middle school. We had a sort of backup on the first floor in the CT classroom and had a bunch of drywall damaged and stuff like that. So we pulled a bunch of drywall out and put drywall in. But we were able to actually locate the problem, so we've got a solution moving forward to saw cut some concrete out of that area, replace the probably 6-foot section of only cast iron pipe that was left from the original building, I think, in that bottom floor with new pipe, and we shouldn't have any more issues. But other than that, things are held up. The weather is doing, the weather at the high school is doing really well. Again, we're at Lewis and Clark for the gym has finally been replaced. That was only 2 months ago. Something like that. But other than that, good.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay. So items 5B, C, and D are all things that we discussed in our study session. Is there any further discussion on any of these? No? Okay, so 5E is our finance report.
In my narrative, I talked about the fact that this time of year, we're working with 3 different state school fund estimates. This is the time that we finally get to reconcile the, so we're reconciling that 23-24 state school fund, plus updating the current year state school fund, and then we received our first estimate using the governor's recommended budget for 25-26 school year. And I give you an example of what this year's state school fund looks like for your 3D questions. Otherwise, finance-wise, everything looks good, coming in as planned. And I wanted to mention that our finance committee met on Monday, Marissa, Linda, and I. So we had that meeting, and then, I guess that was it for now.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Okay, item 5F is our enrollment report.
Like we've talked a lot about enrollment tonight, which is not a bad thing, but just going through some of the data and looking at it, since we last met, we've had 16 students exit our district. I will tell you 4 of those were graduates. Okay. 9 of those were children whose families moved. They relocated to other states or other districts. One was a courtesy that needed to be revoked. And then 2, we are still working on tracking down. And Gleo and Randy are working in that. So we are watching closely and trying to pay attention and make sure that we can account for our kids. But they aren't just randomly dropping off. And so, but with that said, the other thing I wanted to share with you is since we last met, we've had 6 new courtesy enrollments. I will work to get data on just general new enrollments, move-in enrollments, but we've had 6 more students enroll as courtesy students. Looking ahead to next year, we already have 5 kindergarten courtesies and 1, I believe, at Lewis and Clark that have already been in paperwork for each year.
Thank you. Item 6 is patron comments and questions. Marissa, do we have any? We do not. Okay. Item 7 is information. Item 8 is our unfinished business. We have 2 second readings, policy TID fixed asset inventories and policy VCDA student representative to the board. Are there any further discussion about those, or do you want to add anything about any of those, Linda?
I'll move to approve our unfinished business.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Item 9 is our new business. A is June 30th, 2024 financial audit.
So we have our auditor online, Nicole Darcy. Nicole, are you there? There she is. All right. She's gonna
All right. Hey there, I'm Nicole Darcy. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. I was the team lead for the fiscal year 2024 audit, and I'm just gonna kind of run through the highlights of that real quick with you guys. Before I get too deep into it, I just wanted to extend my thanks to Mindy for all of her help this year. It was as always a pleasure having the opportunity to work with her, and I really appreciate all of her assistance. If I could turn your attention to the board letter, I can quickly walk through that and discuss the results of the audit. If I could have you turn to page 2, if that's being projected. Thank you. Just to give some context, the purpose of the audit was to opine on the fair presentation of the basic financial statements in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles and auditing standards, Oregon municipal audit law, and rules and regulations related to expenditures of federal awards. To discuss the results of the audit, item number 1 on there under results, the district opted to take a modified opinion on the implementation of GASB statement number 96. Many districts opt to do this as it can be intensive and costly to implement. But that is related to the disclosures of subscription liabilities on the financial statements. Number 2 on there, state minimum standards, referencing Oregon law, we found no exceptions or issues of note in this regard. And item number 3 on there, federal awards. This is referring to the single audit we performed, which was conducted on ESSER this year. When conducting the single audit, we found no issues of non-compliance or questioned costs. Separately from the single audit, we did note one issue of non-compliance on the schedule of findings and questioned costs listed on page 66 of the audit report, which I will discuss further in a moment. But if I could turn your attention now to page 7, I believe. This is our list of best practice findings from the audit. I'll just quickly run through those. Feel free to stop me if you have any questions on any of these items. Item number 1 on there, segregations of duties and management override of controls. Due to a limited number of available personnel, it's not always possible to adequately segregate certain incompatible duties so that no employee has access to both physical assets and the related accounting records or to all phases of a transaction. Specifically, we noted the business manager has full access to the computer system, has the ability to create vendors, create purchase orders, approve purchase orders, and is an authorized check signer. The business manager also has full access to all payroll functions. We did find mitigating controls in place in that the business manager does not have access to blank check stock, and that the superintendent reviews the bank statements and is notified when any changes occur to employee maintenance files. Consequently, the possibility exists that intentional or unintentional errors or irregularities could exist and not be promptly detected, and also opens up the possibility of management override of controls. We just recommend that the board continually monitor the district's financial activities just to mitigate this risk. Item number 2 on there, governing body monitoring. An integral part of internal controls is the monitoring of financial activities by those charged with governance. This can be accomplished by asking specifically designed questions to senior staff, by reviewing basic financial statements and projections, and by comparing financial results to pre-established benchmarks. While the board participates in the budget adoption process and receives staff-prepared financial statements, these only partially fulfill the monitoring function. We recommend that the board articulate this monitoring practices and record in the minutes when these activities occur. Item number 3 on there, fidelity insurance coverage. Reviewing fidelity insurance coverage, we noticed that the cash balances carried are in excess of the insurance coverage. We recommend that the board examine this exposure risk and make a determination as to the amount of insurance coverage they feel is prudent in regard to their oversight. Item number 4, Service Organization Control Report. The Internal Revenue Service has published a 403B regulations providing guidance on several administration compliance requirements. A third party has been contracted with to outsource compliance with these requirements. Non-compliance subjects the district to potential penalties and fines. The district has also contracted with a third party for accounting and information technology services. Since these third-party providers do not provide the district with an SSA 18 service provider report, or internal control report covering their operations. The possibility exists that errors or irregularities could exist and not be detected. We recommend that the district monitor current practices to determine compliance with accountability requirements for the Section 403B plan and consider the sufficiency of the documentation received from those third parties to reduce the district's risk in this area. The district should also consider being named as an additional insured party on the vendor's insurance policies. What this finding is really pointing to is if you are aware of what happened with Caruth recently, this is kind of the risk that this is trying to mitigate, essentially. And that last item on there, number 5, stale dated checks. During our testing of bank reconciliations, we noted numerous uncleared checks were still included in the bank reconciliations. Although immaterial in total, we recommend that all stale dated checks be cleared in a timely manner or turned over to the state as unclaimed property in compliance with Oregon unclaimed property law. Any questions on those best practice items? If there's no question,
Sorry, you said on number 4, after reading through, you said if you're familiar with something, didn't catch it.
Is the Caruth Consulting recently had a security breach that affected a lot of school districts. What we're kind of pointing to here is that the district doesn't really have an ability to be authoritative on third-party security, essentially, or internal control practices. So there is a risk in handing over secure data to third parties and not being able to govern how it is being managed. So if, for example, a security breach were to happen and a lot of people's personal information got leaked, there's not really a way for the district to have assurance over what would happen in that instance or how that instance would be prevented. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions on those best practices? If not, I will move on to page number 66 of the audit report. All right.
What did you say?
Page 66 of that report.
But it's right after.
Yeah, right there. Thank you. All right. Just to quickly run through the schedule of findings and questions costs from the single audit letter. During the course of the audit, we only found one item we considered to be a significant deficiency. During the course of the audit, we discovered that it was necessary to document a prior period adjustment related to the lessor agreement held by the district. Although the lessor agreement was initiated during fiscal year 2024, a large prepayment occurred during fiscal year 2023 that was not previously accounted for. This was a fairly unique situation, and GASB 87 is already very technical and difficult to grapple with, even under normal circumstances. So we don't anticipate this being a recurring issue, but we did just have to document that prior period adjustment to account for the prepayment. So we recommend that the district regularly reviews the records for any lease agreements which may be applicable under GASB 87, and that those agreements are documented on the district's trial balance accordingly. Any questions on that item? All right, well, that's all I've got for you guys, unless you have anything for me.
We're okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Bye.
Okay. Item 9B is National Teacher Appreciation Week.
We have to do an action.
Oh, sorry, that's an action item.
I'll move to approve June 30th, 2024 financial audit.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, now we're on 90.
There we go.
National Teacher Appreciation Week, and, Grace, you have,
I
no,
do.
Jeanette?
I do. All right, I will read this. So the Teacher Appreciation Week resolution, whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education, and whereas teachers encounter students of wildly differing backgrounds, and whereas our country's future depends upon providing quality education to all students, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling, and coaching students, and performing community service, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Astoria School District Board of Directors proclaims May 5th through 9th, 2025 to be Teacher Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved that Astoria School District Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation to our teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work. So I will move to approve the National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 5th through 9th, 2025 for Resolution 2024-2025-008.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that carries. Thank you. 9C is our National School Nurses Day, and Ms. Maritza has that one.
Okay, whereas children are the future and by investing in them today, we're ensuring a world for tomorrow. And whereas all students have the right to have their health needs safely met while in the school setting. Whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school. And whereas school nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years. And whereas school nurses are professional nurses that advance the well-being, academic success, and lifelong achievements of students by serving on the front lines and providing critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children. And whereas school nurses act as a liaison to the school community, parents, and healthcare providers on behalf of children's health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our community children. And whereas school nurses are members of school-based mental health teams. And whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in a position to make positive difference for children every day. Now therefore be resolved that Astoria School District Board of Directors celebrates and acknowledges the accomplishments of school nurses everywhere and their effort of meeting their needs in today's students by improving the delivery of health care in our schools, and offer gratitude to school nurses who contribute to our community by helping students stay healthy in school and ready to learn, and keeping parents and guardians at work, not just as National School Nurses Day, but every opportunity throughout the year. Be it for their resolve that Astoria School Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation to school nurses for their dedication and devotion to their work.
And this is an action item.
I move to approve the National School Nurses Day, May 7th, 2025, Resolution 2024-2025-009.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries as well. Item 10 is comments for the good of the order. Acting Superintendent.
Well, I'm finally starting to like getting the rhythm. Again, thank you to everybody and across the district. The district staff has been just amazing with their support. You guys, the buildings, but now I'm kind of like getting my bearings. So I have some fun things and some thank yous. So I have truly enjoyed visiting the buildings. Like when Kate was talking today about seeing those little people singing with energy. It is great. It is truly great. I love to go over there and like go into the kindergarten classroom and the teachers have been very welcoming, but it's a little bit of therapy and a little debate, right? And then the other thing that is just handled so gracefully in the, in the building, I might not be aware, is the number of community partners and the things that go on that we might not see day to day in like my typical position, but I have grown like an appreciation and respect for how our district interacts with our community. So that's been a real rewarding experience for me. And then lastly, today, I got an email from Mr. Jackson, my favorite activity of the year, grad walk is scheduled. That's how close we are.
I
So
know.
that's what I got for you guys. Yeah, yeah.
I just said on Monday, I go, oh my God, we're 2 months out. And the girls both went,
Do you feel a little panicky?
yeah,
I'm not prepared.
yeah, that's 8 weeks.
Those invitations are like,
It's not even 8 weeks. I mean, Sam's gonna get stuff done before that. That's just 8
Exactly.
weeks that we're, yeah, like.
well, see,
say it.
I always look so forward to that event. It is so
Yeah.
powerful and awesome. And when that popped up in my email today with the schedule and.
Yeah.
Mindy?
The only thing I have is I just wanted to remind you all there, about the statement of economic interest that you have to file by April 15th. So I can't tell if you've done it or not, but it's on the government ethics website. And you need help, links.
I think it doesn't come directly to my email, because I can't get into my school email.
Oh,
Marissa
it's on her, that you have.
Marissa's good.
She's done it for me before.
I need some assistance.
We'll get that, yeah. So then, yeah, because you have, it's whenever the 15th is next week.
Next week?
It's probably in there.
Okay. Yeah. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Bring in all the sunshine.
I know.
So I will kick it off by thanking Mindy for keeping us on track and online and reminding us to do these important pieces of this job that sometimes we see nothing else, but it's that ethics stuff. It's just like, my gosh, another email. But so thank you for that. And thank you to everyone. Great stories tonight being shared, and Isabella's report. I love hearing the awesome things going on. Thank you to Hampton and Nygaard Logging for what they do in the community. They help a lot in that community partnership that it's multifaceted and multi-layered. So we appreciate that. Thank you to, because I should put my glasses on to read my writing. Just the great artwork in here. I wasn't here last month due to not feeling well, and I walked in, I'm going, my God, just like a gallery. I'm very impressed. And to find out it was the middle schoolers, I mean, I'm impressed anyway with the high school. I kind of missed that part of when I was working at OSU for 4-H and taking stuff to the state fair, and I would unload the van and people would just be in awe as they're bringing it out and going, oh my God, your kids are talented. And we've always had a really, really, really good, I think, program here. And I always say it's because of the weather. They stay inside, they draw and stuff, but there's a lot of pieces here for these kids. I look at it going, there's everything represented here, and I just love it. So thank you for that. And then I had the opportunity to testify at the Ways and Means legislator roadshow, whatever they wanted to call it. But it was kind of, that was kind of I wasn't sure if I was going to, and then I felt like I was going to choke up, like, okay, I can get through this. And then they bounced me a couple times because they had to bring in an interpreter, and then they were like, tell me to go and not. I'm like, I was told to wait, and I had to kind of back up, but every time I started to speak, it was like, I had to stop. So got it out. I didn't cry. And I hope I got my point across, because like I told Mr. Hoppus, I wasn't going to share the data and the stats and all the stuff that was being shared. I was proud of the fact that I think that really Astoria was the only school district represented. No other school districts were there, which kind of frustrated me. But there was 130 people signed up to testify, and I think they only got through about a third of that. So the fact that I was called was like, whew, I was like right before the end. And but I just shared a personal story, and it was one that I hope they heard. Not that it's going to change the outcome, but at least I can say I tried. So I love the district, and I hope that, I think out of all of it, there was a little bump in, what they did say in the finance piece for the special needs end of things, but it's still not enough. But we'll take it. So that's it for me.
I thought the logs at Lewis and Clark are really awesome, and the idea is zip lines and stuff, I love it. Like, just kids kind of being able to test their boundaries, get out of the bubble a little bit. It's a good thing. And excited for the dance team and their achievement there. They're pretty excited about that. I also, thanks to all of your efforts and everyone else's, and Jeanette and everyone, for advocating for the schools and school funding, and everybody who came together to write postcards and letters and speak and, and organize all the things. So appreciate that. I got to go as a chaperone to the state FFA convention. That was fun. And one of the students, Sam Moss, he applied to be a state officer. And I didn't realize what all they have to go through. Like, they have the whole convention, he was doing stuff with it. They had like basic interviews, but then they also had to do behavioral interviews, and they had to come up with like activities on the spur of the moment and implement them and show how they could do it. They had to do like extensive speaking, so they had to be knowledgeable and were given questions out of the blue about legislative topics or whatever, and they had to give a speech on it. And then anyway, there was, I think, nearly 50 kids competing for it, and he made all of the whatever cuts, and he made it to the top 10, and they chose 6. So he was right there, and they gave their speech on stage, and he represented Astoria School District very well. And there was also a lot of other awards given to Astoria kids. And so there's, I probably got the number wrong, 2,000 something kids there. So it's like, there's a lot of kids, and Astoria was kind of at the center a lot of the time. So that was neat to see. State OSET is coming up, and it's my child. She's been working hard and has qualified for state in jumping. So horse jumping. So she has to jump 6 inches and do a pattern. And so she has placed high enough at the meets to go to the state competition next month. So they have their last meet this weekend, but she's placed high enough in the other 2 that she's like automatically qualified. And then a team event called Versatility, and there's other kids from Warrenton and Seaside and Jewel on that team with her that's going to state, and she's on the bubble for like 2 others, pole bending and figure 8 for gaming. Anyway, but she's the only Astoria student, but their team comprises. So anyway, just share that FFA and OSET, and getting ready for Concept Works at work and hiring students. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. So that's it.
I will echo what you had said about the thanks to my garden, Hampton, for the donations of what an asset for Lincoln Clark. Awesome for their kids. Thank you to our teachers and our nurses. And thank you to Jeanette for representing us well. I know my husband was there and he said you did a very good job. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Same. Everybody, we love all the good stuff. But I did get to go to the National School Board conference in Atlanta. I won a scholarship. I didn't tell you guys that I applied in November There was a color caucus. So I won that, and I think there was only 2 of us in the state of Oregon that won the scholarship that are part of the color caucus that got it. So I went to Atlanta for 4 days, and it was very motivational and inspiring, and it just kind of reminded me why I'm here today. So that's always good. There's a lot coming, but overall, it's nice to see how other schools or people from like Canada, all over the states. It was great to see where other schools are at, where we at. You know, funding and stuff like that was a big conversation piece. I wish there was like answers to everything, like this is what we're gonna do. But unfortunately there isn't. But it was a great experience. I enjoyed it. Wish that all of you would have been there with me.
Especially Atlanta. That's a home city.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I go back. But it was a great experience, and I'm really happy that I got to be there. And you guys remember Sammy, who was the president, and he was there, and he was great. It was his birthday, and so anyways, there was very good motivational speakers, you know, with like disabilities that was played at the end, that talked at the end, and just how inspiring. Like there was like a gold medal Olympus, you know. Anyways, it was just very motivational and inspiring. I enjoyed every part of it. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
And I have nothing more to add. You've all said it all. With that, our future meetings, Wednesday, May 14th at 5:45 is our next study session meeting here in the boardroom. And on the 14th at 7 is our regular board meeting here in the boardroom. And the Astoria School Board of Directors will now meet in executive session under the authority of ORS 192.6602B to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about the subject during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. Oh, so we will now go back into open session. It is 8:19, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Okay.